What's going on, guys? Coming to you after just the craziest week with GameStop, AMC, everything else going on in the markets. It was wild. Biggest options expiration day on S&P 500 history on Friday with 5 trillion expiring. Just an absolutely nutso week. So I want to talk about today real quick. I want to go over this whole Roaring Kitty thing because I think it's important to have a real discussion. Now, I want to say before I get started, I'm not quite sure which way this stands. I'm going to present my opinions of what I think is possible in this, but I also want to include the fact that were we totally screwed over with GameStop by this whole Roaring Kitty thing, I think he might have left millions of shareholders bag holding after a squeeze. Now, it's completely possible that that's wrong. It's completely possible he's still fighting with retail and is on the right side of things. But I'm going to show you some stuff today that I think it's worth considering and worth wondering about. And then hopefully we'll know more this coming week. So let's get started. Before I get started, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I appreciate the support. All right, let's start looking at things. Okay, so Roaring Kitty, aka Keith Gill, made his return back to Twitter last week around Friday, and he tweeted all through the week. And ever since he tweeted, GameStop just started making its moves and ran up to at one point to $79 in pre-market, which just a massive move. But he never actually said anything. He just kept sharing these clips of movies. Now he would write over them with his own captions, whatever. But this is it. This is all we've gotten from this entire time. So people have been trying to decode these, figure out what's going on. And the thing is we just don't know. I mean, we can all guess. I saw one estimate that on this one right here, I was told that somebody was telling me that the blinking spells bottom, as if GameStop's finally held its bottom. But, you know, it's fun that he's doing this, and there's a lot of reasons he could be doing this. Maybe he doesn't want to be sued. Maybe this is a way of avoiding hedge funds being able to use anything legally against him if we're squeezing. Those are all the positive aspects of it. But then the negative aspect is this actually him posting? We've had no confirmation it's actually him. I can guarantee you it's not hacked at this point. It would have been shut down by now. So we know that's not a possibility. But is it possible somebody else is using the account, paid for this account to use for it? And that's the kind of questions we need to be asking. For me, the most, the one I'm wondering about the most is this right here. This is the final one he posted yesterday. Now this is E.T., the end of E.T., where Elliot says goodbye to E.T. and E.T. goes home. And here's the deal is that E.T. doesn't come back. So is Roaring Kitty really going to leave when GameStop just ran up to 79 and then back down, closing around 21, 22 on Friday after options expiration? That actually has crushed a lot of shareholders. Many shareholders bought in on the way up, and they did not sell. They did not sell as it kept going up, and then they got stuck with holding the bag on the way down, expecting it to bounce back and go higher. That simply has not happened. Now, could it happen next week? It's very possible. I'm not here to say GameStop. I'm not here to make predictions. That's not what I'm doing. I am asking the question, though, that when you post something like this, and you've been posting you've been posting interesting little video clips all week, and then you finish with this. Now, there's one other possibility you could say, and so I want to allow for both sides here, but that is that maybe he's saying that GameStop's about to go to the moon, go into space, because it ends here with this rainbow shooting, like this is ET shooting off into space to home. And, one of the most popular things to say is it's going to the moon. So that's one way of thinking it. But to me, I just have concern that this is a goodbye. Now, there's a lot to consider here, because if this is a goodbye, at this point, this would be very bad for his legacy, I gotta say, because everybody's been expecting GameStop. People have been holding GameStop for 3+ years. They were expecting it to go to 500 again, 1,000, 3,000, these massive, massive numbers. And at this point, it peaked at 79 and crushed back down very quickly. So I don't know, but this kind of concerns me. Now let's look at some other things here just to look at this whole story. So this is really interesting. I want to share this first of all, that the collapse of GameStop's stock right here has very similar trend lines to what happened last time. In fact, on the left here we have 2021, on the right we have 2024, but you do see that in 2021 it did continue to climb back up again. So we'll see if that happens. We can be hopeful. There are a lot of similarities here. But it could also be that it's bottoming and it's not going to bounce back just like it did in 2021. That remains to be seen. But you can clearly see here that there's a lot of similarity between the two, which means to me that there might be a lot more control going on here than most people want to admit. But let's keep looking here. So it finished down $22, another 20% on Friday, 72% from the high over the 4 days, and it just has been a killer trend line down. So to me, that just again, it just concerns me, this whole ET video. But I don't know, maybe it'll turn out to be good. But for now, I do think it's important to prepare yourselves just in case, because crazier things have happened. Now, to add to it, one of the scarier things I've seen is this right here. Now, this is some blog, and then I've just seen it on Twitter. So I'm not saying this is 100% proven, and I just haven't had the time, or I have been looking, but I haven't been able to confirm this. Let me say that. However, there's a lot of word that Keith Gill, Roy and Kitty's wife, works for Goldman Sachs. I'll tell you right now that if this is true, if his wife works for Goldman Sachs, there's no way in hell he can be fighting the system the way he's doing without getting in major trouble, his wife losing her job. You better believe that this would be a conflict of interest right here. So there could be massive trouble right here. And whether he's just posting videos or not, the timing is very it's very strong circumstantial evidence that he knew to run this stock. So if he's actually fighting against these guys, and this is true, so these things have to be combined, this could be a major issue. On the other hand, is it also likely or probable that maybe he's working with the hedge funds to suck in a bunch of retail and hurt them? And who knows? Or could even be working with GameStop so they could raise money, which, by the way, they just did. So GameStop this week released that they are going to be raising money to the tune of selling 45 million new shares at an offering. So open market offering with Jefferies, which, Jefferies is not great. Those of you who watch my other videos and lives know that about Jefferies. They are very keen on naked short selling and a big problem in the markets. However, they've entered into this agreement, sell 45 million new shares. So this is dilutive. But there's other stuff going on with that. But by the way, I want to share that this was predicted by Ham Short Killer on my live just 4 nights ago. He said it right and was criticized for saying this. In fact, many GameStop people said he wouldn't know this, but Ham is an insider, been on Wall Street watching it for over 40 years. And I got to tell you, everything he said so far has come to happen. Listen.
GameStop's a different beast.
It is, yeah.
But again, GameStop, that guy Ryan Cohen at one point is going to say, hey, you know what? Everyone got a short squeeze out of this thing.
Yep.
I'm going to raise $500 million more. This company be funded. I can do anything with money. And you know what? What am I going to say? You had your opportunity to make money. Be careful. I could see that happening, in this stock. But this is a different stock. It's $50, right?
Yeah, it's closed 50 in after hours. It opened at 60 today.
So it's a $50 stock.
Yeah.
He's not selling 70 million shares to get $300 million. He may have to sell, 20 million shares.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the higher it goes, the better, you know, the less shares he's giving out and the more money he's going to get.
Yep. So Ham predicted it and it happened. Pretty crazy, right? But to be fair, this offering might not be entirely bad. Ryan Cohen has a pretty good track record of not screwing shareholders over, unless it depends on what you think of what happened with BBBY. However, GameStop has a track record of not screwing over its shareholders, a la AMC. And there's this interesting story from the street back in December. And what's interesting here is that it says, is Ryan Cohen steering GameStop toward a Berkshire Hathaway or Icon Enterprises transformation? In other words, is Ryan Cohen trying to turn GameStop into a holding company that just acquires a bunch of other companies and ends up being massively valuable because of all the holdings it has? And there's several signs that lead to this. And this entire story goes over that with Ryan. And this could just be the beginning of that. Ryan has a track record of making short squeezes happen. And in fact, he also has a track record of selling out at that time. But by becoming GameStop CEO and causing a short squeeze, he's able to raise a lot of money and maybe get this started. Now, Berkshire Hathaway, you can't even buy Berkshire Hathaway stocks. We're talking it's at like $300,000 a share, which would be crazy. So long term, this could be extremely bullish for GameStop. However, short term, dilutive offering is usually not a great thing. It does depend on how it's done. But I would say that this might and could very well take the gas out of any short squeeze, short-term possibilities. But you know, I'm not I'm not 100% on that. In fact, there are several others who disagree with me, including this post here on the Superstock community on Reddit. Now, he goes through the entire 8K, all of it, but he's very bullish in saying that GameStop, what's happening is actually going to force shorts to accept their fate or be forced to accept their fate. And he says they take their loss, life goes on, they cease to exist. He believes that this is the beginning of squeezing the shorts out, and says what's happening by issuing common stock, preparing to issue juicy dividend-paying preferred stock. Shorts will dig a hole so deep they'll be liquidated in the end. Cheaper common stock gets in the short term, the better. So, in other words, he is saying though he expects it to get cheaper in the short term before rocketing up. So this would take out a lot of juice from what could happen, say, in the next week or two, several months. This might become a long-term play again, which, you know, still takes us back to good old Roaring Kitty. And what's he doing here? Why come in now and have a bunch of people buy in and possibly lose their money? The only people who really made money on this were the people who saw it coming quickly, got in, sold, or the people who've been holding 3 years at the lower values and sold on the way up at 50, 60, 70 bucks, which I guarantee you is not that many of them. Most people held on to their shares expecting more. Meanwhile, Wall Street just kept making that money. $8 billion made by those with puts calls, puts options. This transfer, $8 billion went from retail to hedge funds, and you name it, in this last week as the price went down because of retail holding. So as of this moment, I think it's pretty fair to say that whatever's going on has been mostly bad for retail in GameStop and not good. So I just want to finish by saying that I don't know what's going on. We still have more time. Roaring Kitty could start posting again on Monday, and GameStop could go to 80 bucks, 100 bucks, $200 on Tuesday, and this video just doesn't mean anything. And then we pretty clear where we're going, and GameStop's in a good place. But I had to make this video because the way Roaring Kitty ended the week, with the stock crushed down 75% from its high, and that ET going home video, to me it was just concerning. So I thought it was important to put this out there and just ask the question, is Roaring Kitty a hero or is he a villain? We're going to find out, but it's not as clear as it once was, in my opinion. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have a great day. Please, please, please make sure when you're trading, you take profits along the way so you don't get stuck holding the bag. And on top of that, please like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this. I'll see you next time. Bye.